Couple right there, one in the back. There's always a few. That's something you can do. You can. It's not as it's expensive, of course, but it's not as expensive as it used to be. I actually think Lord of the Rings was a real helper in that regard, because the tourism business jumped up. I think it was 20% after the movies came out, with people wanting to go and see this great, beautiful place that had been depicted in the Lord of the Rings. So, and there's always people now. You go down there and you can take the Lord of the Rings tour. And it'll take you to all the places. Well, I'll take you to some of the places where we filmed different sequences. And I'm pretty sure if I went on it, I'd be like, really? We were here? Something about the nature of memory. I don't know. I have my wife and daughter with me. Christine, my wife now 22 years, just almost 22 years. I think those applause are mostly for her. Poor thing. Might be getting wise now, but we have 3 daughters, but then we only had one, Alexandra, Allie. In fact, in the last scene, the last shot of the last scene of the last film of the Lord of the Rings trilogy, when Sam finally arrives back home after farewelling Frodo off to the Grey Havens, he comes home and there's a little girl who runs down the path to greet him. And that little 3-year-old girl is my daughter. She's 17 and a half now. We were at a hotel the other day and we got out of the car. I think she and I drove together and my wife drove with the other 2 kids. Anyhow, for some reason in the car park area, it was just the 2 of us. And I turned this way or did something, and the bell guy said, ma'am, is your husband going to come back with the keys? And she turned around and looked at him. All day it bothered her. Why do you think I look like your wife? Well, you look like your mother, so, you know, the logic is not that far off. Anyhow, she's looking at colleges now, and we took we were invited, Christine and Allie and I were invited to go to the premiere of the second Hobbit, The Desolation of Smaug. I call Smaug. Thank you. Those of us with phones want to call him Smaug. I know, when you read it to your kids, actually, I read it to my daughter as much as she let me, and you come up with the songs, and they, in the movie, they started doing the songs, and I'm like, yeah, they're pretty close. I don't care if it's a big, $100 million movie. I remember when I was sitting in my bedroom reading it, I think that's what a lot of people felt like when we did Lord of the Rings. So many people have come to me and said, I was really scared about how those movies would turn out. Because I read them in my childhood, they meant so much to me, and they'd seen the Ralph Bakshi version of the cartoon. Oh, Mr. Frodo, I don't know what without you. I had not seen the Ralph Bakshi version until I got to New Zealand, and we were doing all of our preparations, the sword fighting and dialect coaching and wardrobe fittings and all the different things, and rehearsals and stuff. And it was like being in the 1950s in the Hollywood studio system where they built the stars, by putting them through all these different things. Anyhow, so we were doing that, and during our weekend, I raced to a bookstore in Wellington. Now, if you know New Zealand, there's 2 islands, and this bottom of the top island is the capital city of the country, Wellington, and it's a really neat little city. And so they have a couple of bookstores. Whitcool's is the kind of bulky store, and then Dimmick's is the high-end bookstore. So I went into Dimmick's and I said, I'd like to see if you have anything with Lord of the Rings. And they wheeled out a whole truck full of stuff, and among them was the Ralph Bakshi videotape. Now, videotape, children, are just boxes with plastic tape in them. We also had facsimiles then, but no email. That's how long it's been since Lord of the Rings. We've used fax machines and no email. Weird. Napster. Elijah would go on the weekends to Moby's, I think it was Moby's, or can't remember the name of it. Wow, I can't remember the name of it. But the CD shop, an actual physical brick and mortar place you would walk into and pick your CDs. But anyhow, so I went into Dimmicks, got the Ralph Bakshi version, went home and watched it, and was in horror at how the Hobbits were depicted. And I was pretty sure that was not how we were going to be doing the Hobbits and Lord of the Rings, but I wasn't 100% sure. And I remember going into Peter Jackson and being like, oh, listen, I know that in the books it'll say something like, and the hobbits burst into tears at the sight of the sunset or something, you know. Are we going to be bursting into tears all the time? I mean, I'm the crier, right? Like Sam's the one who, you know, every 5 seconds is crying because Frodo's lost and Frodo's dead and it's going to spider and Frodo's back and Frodo's not here up the hill. You know, geez, I remember Peter Jackson at one point saying to me, like, you're pretty good at crying. I was like, thanks. You know, it's like telling a tight end, like, you know, you're good at that little forearm shiver move. Thanks, man. I'm good at crying. Thanks. No problem. We do that Tuesday? Yeah, Tuesday. You know, we need you to cry right now. Can you cry? Yeah, no problem. How do you do it? How do you cry on cue? I don't know.
Keep an onion in your pocket.
Say again?
Keep an onion in your pocket.
Keep an onion in your pocket. Pretty close. So they have this, well, there's the acting answer, which is, you know, sometimes people do sense memory, they'll go back to a place in their life where that they expect a loss, something sad, music that can trigger things. Lots of people do different things. I've always just tried to be the, you know, be the ball and be the character and think about what the character's thinking about. And if the character's sad because, you know, Frodo seems to be dying on the side of the hill, then I'm sad because my, you know, like really play make-believe, go for it. Make, like the cosplayers. My inspiration. So, but you do have, one thing that we did was, what do they call it, mentholyptus. You'll see sometimes actors, they'll blow up like a little mentholyptus in the actor's eyes and that'll make them water, and that's one sort of trick, I guess, or technique. It stings a little, so you do kind of cry for real. But you can also take it and you can kind of just smell it a little bit, and the mentholyptus kind of, I don't know, it kind of opens up your capillaries or something like that, whatever those are called. Those ducts. The what? Louder. Oh. Medical student? No? Did you just, like, Wikipedia that real quick? So say it one more time for me loud. Lacrimal. Lacrimal glands, yes. That's what we did. We triggered the lacrimal glands in order to execute a performance of dramatic quality. But it really did hurt your eyes over time, so I would actually take it and just put it right under my eyes like that. Not for a crying scene, but just, you know, trekking across Mount Doom. And it would make your eyes really red and stingy, and it looks good. I mean, you know, it really looks like believable. They'll put glycerin all over you, you know, to make sweat, or they'll actually come up. There's nothing like getting up at 4:30 in the morning and you're out there and it's just bone-chillingly cold, and the wardrobe people are squirting water on your armpits and your chest and your back to make it look like cold. You're like, all right, I look cold, it's good, I'm sweating. And then it gets dry, and then they do it again. Water torture. But it's not really like water torture. But I'll tell you what, when you experience little discomforts a lot, they start to get really noticeable, like the feet. The little cuts you get on your feet all the time, and then they take alcohol to rub it on the glue to get the feet off, and you have like bloody cuts on your feet. You're like, is there anything less, you know, caustic that we can use? But then you get a little menthol foot bath. That was nice, or a little eucalyptus foot bath rather. Just put the feet on and you wear them for 2 years. It can damage the feet, man. Anyhow, so it was an amazing experience being in New Zealand at that time. Remember the, you know, there's things you might not think about. You know, we were gone in this faraway place, literally physically and also kind of spiritually and creatively, and narratively, you're in this world of Middle Earth. But a lot of times, and it's great for us, living our lives, watching the news and all the terrible things that happen, and our lives are kind of a grind, and you can go into these movies and you can just disappear into the world. You can enjoy being in the world, and you can watch it over and over again, and the music, and the performances, and all the skill of the sword making, and the sets, and it's just an amazing thing. But when you're down there for 2 years, you find yourself wanting reality. You know, after 4 months, most movies take now 6 weeks to 2.5 months. The budgets the way they are and things, they usually take that long. Big, huge budget movies can take 3 months or longer if they're like the epic $300 million movies. But most movies you can work on, they take 3 months, say. So your body clock as a professional actor kind of gets used to that time frame. And at about 3.5 months, your body clock is like, all right, we've really done this. We've really done this movie. And we're doing 3 movies, but we're really making them all as one movie. And then you get to 4 months, and you think, uh-oh, I'm in uncharted mental territory. And there were definitely times when we were working on it when I was like, I don't know if this is ever going to end. I don't know if I can keep going. This is really hard. You know, I mean, some people work for a living, actually work for a living. This is, well, it is work for a living. I mean, you know, carrying that stupid backpack up and down those hills, day after day. Simon was my prop guy. Simon was the guy who it's his job to kind of, when I get the backpack up and the pots are like this and sausages are like that, and you know, and then you got to kind of, and it's not a North Face or, you know, it's not a modern, you know, ergonomically designed piece of equipment. It's, you know, a bag, a round bag with things on it. And Simon's job was to try and cinch it down, and you'd have to, it was like a corset or something, you know, with these cuts on the side of your arm. You know, you're tough, you're kind of a tough guy, it's not a problem, you know, after 3 weeks, and, you know, and you're like, it hurts, you know, you're going to be tough. But so Simon and I both had, we wanted to have like a ritualistic burning of the backpack when it was finished, but instead of sort of gifted as a memoir, you know, please take this as a token of your work on the films. And so I have that as my, there's a couple of things that I have as my treasures from that. And one is the backpack, and 2 is Sam's sword, not Sting, but Sam's sword. And then Eleanor's dress. Eleanor's the little girl that Allie played running up the thing, and the dress that she wore was just so beautiful, and so we got to keep that. We pulled it out a little while ago for that TV show, Profiles in History, when I went in and did, I think it was on FX or something, and I went in and looked at some of my memorabilia and told stories like, oh, this one's gonna hurt. So I had the Goonies map. Tucked under my arm and took home when I was 12. Along with some doubloons, some of the treasure doubloons, the little, whatever the thing is called.
Copper bones.
Not copper bones, I have that too. Copper bones is the key with the skull thing that's a key. What?
Like that? I have a copper bones.
That's copper bones, yeah. But no, I'm talking about the other one. It's like, it looks like a circle and it's got a little opening in it, and like he's like, yeah, yeah, with a restaurant and a rock, and yeah. I don't think it has an official name. Interesting. No, well, yeah, they did ILM, Industrial Light and Magic, the effects house that I think was part of Lucasfilm or adjacent to it or whatever, but they painted that in there. So that actual shot, the close-up shot, looking through it to the, you know, because that rock wasn't there. They had to paint that rock in. There's a rock just like it, but it didn't line up perfectly with the restaurant that they built on the side of that hill. But anyway, I brought that map home. I brought the skull and bones thing. I brought that thing, and I brought an inhaler. And I've autographed a lot of inhalers. People have told me, look, Goonies never say die. People have said that I made asthma cool. All 3 of my kids have asthma. They're like, I know, they're not happy about that. But anyhow, but then my mom, I went to do Memphis Belle in England. Memphis, Tennessee. Just occurred to me what I said there. Okay, and then while I was gone, my mom sold our house that I had grown up in. They were ready to move, they sold the house. But I don't think she knew either that in the attic or somewhere. Yeah, I told you it was in her. Yeah, map. Gone. No idea where it is in the dumpster. Maybe on accident. No idea. No idea. I know it's a little death right there. I asked the Profiles and History guy, who's a movie memorabilia broker, what he thought, that item would fetch in the movie collection marketplace, and he said probably 125 grand. So I'm like, Mom. Yeah. It's a lot of money. You put a couple of your grandkids, anyhow. I keep hoping it can turn out so she'd be like, haha, kidding, I haven't. But I did, my dad, my father, John Astin Gomez from the original Astin. Lives in Baltimore now, teaches drama at Johns Hopkins. He's 84. Walks the class every day. He's just got 5 classes that he teaches. He's a very inspirational guy. Anyhow, he sold the condo that he had in LA after my parents got divorced, but he had it for like 30 years. More than probably 35 years. He sold it, but he put a lot of things. He's more of a pack rat than my mom. My mom wants clean lines. My mom is Patty Duke. Yeah, so she's doing good. But anyhow, she likes to clean things. Clean it out, I want a fresh start. It's like, we just had a fresh start last week, but I want another fresh start. So my dad, has storage places everywhere. So anyhow, I'm out of town at a convention or something. When I get home, my wife's like, oh, that box, your dad brought that box of stuff over. I'm like, okay, weird. And I open it up, and there's like, yeah, how much time? 5 minutes? It's too fast. Always too fast. Need more time. Can I buy? I know. Yeah, go ahead. What's your question? You couldn't make toy soldiers. We talking about toy soldiers and memorabilia. We stole our director's chairs. T.E.